Hello, everybody. This is Bala here again. Welcome to the next episode of Podcast with Runners. It's always a very, looked after content that RHWB produces. Obviously, I know the reason. All our runners would like to hear from fellow runners, fellow amazing human beings, fellow rock stars. And in that, sort of genre, I think this episode is not going to disappoint any one of you. This is going to be, I can guarantee you, this is going to be an awesome episode because I have put together three awesome guys, friends of mine, who have been runners for some time now, who have done some really cool things, last seasons. And I cannot wait to talk to them, learn from them, hear from them. So without much further ado, let me invite the first guest to introduce himself, and then we can go on to other parts of the podcast. Please go ahead.
Hi, Bala. Thanks for inviting me for the podcast. To start introducing myself, I'm Rakesh, born, brought up in Ranchi, did my schooling in Ranchi, and I was coming from a defense background. I was also aiming for joining the Air Force. Unfortunately, due to color blindness, that put a hard stop on that.
Oh, Lord.
Later on, I started switching for alternatives, what is my interest area, and then got into computer science. Did my computer science and then landed into job in Pune. While doing the job, definitely other interest areas were bike riding, mountaineering, trekking. There are plenty of places near Pune where we used to go for trekking. Bike riding, we have been to Leh and Ladakh. So from Chandigarh all the way back to the top in the mountains, highest motorable road, and then coming back. So that was an amazing experience. Definitely apart from that, been interested in playing crickets and badmintons whenever I get time. And regarding my family, I have my beautiful wife, Neeti. She's working in IT, and two beautiful sons, both are in schools, Shlok and Swarat. So that is pretty much about me.
Awesome, Rakesh. First of all, welcome, man. Welcome to the podcast. I always meant to have a formal chat with you for a long time. So I'm so glad that we are finally able to do this. Air Force, I remember, I'm assuming you are applied for NDA and then went into that.
Exactly.
And all that,
SSB, right? Yeah.
Wow, I know, because I tried, but of course, clearly I was not that quality that I couldn't get through the exams only. But I remember the top of the top will only can get the Air Force, and they had to go through some special test and all, right?
Right. PABT test.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got all of that done, and then finally medical you didn't realize, and that's when you learned, is it?
Right.
Oh my goodness, man. See, they say, right, life is all about ups and downs, and it's just amazing that already I can see how, your passion that you wanted to do, and then you did everything. And I mean, there are sometimes life gives you a lemon.
Yeah, right.
Like how happens in running, right? You do everything and then still something else will happen and you can't run and you can't. It's beautiful.
Exactly, Vada.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that just shows your quality and your character as a runner as well. So it's a very nice, element of your life. And congratulations on, reorienting yourself into something else. And it seems like you're enjoying that as well. And you're doing
exactly. Yeah.
Awesome, Rakesh. Very nice. Welcome. And we'll continue to talk in this podcast. So let's now invite the second guest. Please go ahead.
Hello, Bala. Hello, everyone. What a wonderful experience to be on your podcast here, Bala. I'm Ravi Gujjar. I've been with Runners High for 3 seasons now. This is my third one, started with S5. I'm here. We live here in Dallas area. My wife Sandhya and 2 kids, Mihir and Amay. I grew up in Mumbai. It was after my 12th, joined IIT Bombay, and then came to the US in 1987, and been here since then. I really started running once I got into IIT, and my primary motive was strengthen my needed muscles for hiking and trekking. So that was my primary passion, along with photography, of course. So that's how I got into running to begin with. A little bit more about my family. Sandhya, my beautiful wife, she is my biggest cheerleader and motivator when it comes to running. She is the one that always keeps me on track. And our elder son, Mihir, he's a sophomore in college, and younger one, Amay, he's a sophomore in high school.
Brilliant, brilliant. And Ravi, you came to the US for college, or you came for work?
That is correct. I came for my master's, did my master's at LSU, did my PhD at University of Wisconsin-Madison, and everything was mechanical engineering, industrial engineering, and then got into, of course, as many of us did, in consulting, IT, and now I'm in sales. So go figure.
God. And so you did your PhD in mechanical engineering, is it?
PhD in industrial engineering and computer science.
Got it. I mean, our running academy has got a lot of PhDs in various, I think I can say 20 plus PhDs, maybe 15 plus physicians. So it's a pretty eclectic group of achievers, overachievers across the board. Of course, that's why they are running. I think there is some common denominator there. So glad to hear a little bit about you, Ravi. And so for both you, Ravi and Rakesh, I didn't realize that you guys are a little bit into outdoors, and you said Leh and Ladakh. What a fascinating, I think I can do a 1 hour discussion just on that. And you talked about trekking. Running and trekking are very complementary sort of activities. And if you think running is my primary love, I would say that is not true. My primary love is mountaineering, and running is just is a means to that mountaineering. And I consider myself more of a mountaineering coach than a running coach. So I run a lot. I do a lot of expeditions to mountains. Every year I climb one mountain. I take 20 to 25 friends / runners / all that to various places. I'm just telling it to you and also to the community. This is something like, if you're interested in mountaineering, you want to go in together, like right now we are thinking of Annapurna trek. In the last year we did Everest Base Camp. Before that we did Kilimanjaro. So every year we do some big ones, like 10, 12, 13 days.
I'll
really great.
We'll sign up.
Yeah, that's why I thought it's a good opportunity to tell.
Sorry.
I know that. And I have a separate hiking group as well, which we do on a regular basis. So anyway, as I said, if I start talking about it, then we'll forget about running and we'll just talk about that. But it's a nice thread between the two of you. So I thought I'll also tell to the audience that this is something, running is a beautiful sort of, means to a mountaineering end. You can do really well in mountaineering. And by the way, mountaineering means, don't think like the Sylvester Stallone hanging in a some kind of a rope. And it's not like that. It's just walking, but walking in an elevated angle maybe. But great, Ravi. Thanks for that introduction.
So Bala, will this enrollment of RHW gets into the trekking club also?
I'm actually afraid to open that, because the scale of runner's high is kind of pretty big for us to manage on the mountaineer's high. But yes, I'm happy to ping me if you guys are interested. We can always do something together. That's my primary passion. So let's invite the third guest. Let's see what interesting stories this guest has for us. Please go ahead.
Hey Bala, so excited to see you again, and thanks for inviting me into this podcast and meeting all the great people here. So I'm Raman Bharde. I was born and brought up in Hyderabad, and early in school there was barely not much into athletics that I got into, but I did do some cricket. And then after my high school, got into IIT, did my metallurgy in Banaras Hindu University, and then decided that it wasn't something I wanted to pursue. So changed track, get into computers, and got into Intel software, and came here to the US in '97. And after that, I've got married, and my wife, Navdeeta, she's from Hyderabad too, and she was a swimmer who represented the state of Andhra Pradesh at the time. And my son, both of my sons, they're in college. Elder one, Amit, he's working for Bank of America, and doing his computer science on the side for third year college. My younger son, yeah, he's also second year computer science, and he's majorly into weightlifting. So that has been his passion for last couple of years at least. Made his own sort of concrete-based dumbbells and whatnot with his friends during summer, during COVID, with nothing else to do. So all fun stuff. That's a brief introduction for me.
What an athletic family is this, huh? A state level swimmer, weightlifter, full marathoner. My goodness. Right. I'm sure your neighbors are like so jealous of this group. Amazing, Raman. So good to see. It was also a pleasure to see Raman was, so nice. Like, in the first season when he came to the East Coast area, he made it a point to come and, sort of almost gate crash the Runners High party at the time when first time you met everybody. But that's what it is. Like, that's what connecting with people looks like. And then all of us know Raman and his family as a result.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was such a great fun to have, realize like there is an extended family. For those of you who haven't been to the event in New Jersey, I absolutely recommend to meet this exciting and beautiful families that they are there. They are wonderful hosts. They are absolutely awesome people to meet. I can't tell you enough.
Absolutely. It is so good. So, and it also is like core Runners High, mission, right? To connect great people. So, so nice to you doing that, making the call, driving all the way to New Jersey and, being physically present in many of the events. So it's awesome. Okay, let's, as you can see, audience, I have assembled a powerhouse, three gentlemen here. So let's double click onto their lives a little bit more and understand what's driving them. So this time, let's start with Ravi. So Ravi, yes, you've done all this college, PhD. Tell me, how did you get into running, or how did you get into Runners High?
A little interesting story. I'll try to compress it very quickly. I mentioned that I started running so that I can build strength for hiking and trekking. So after undergrad, came here to the US, continued with running, continued with little strength training. For me, somewhere during this whole process, the mental block was 5K, 3 miles. Oh my goodness, I have done a lot. And that continued for the longest time. Then when I was just about to turn 50, I said, dude, I need to do something longer than 3 miles. My fellow IITian friend, worked with him. He gave me a 12-week plan. He's like, if you're doing 3 miles, you can do half marathon. So that's how I ran my first half marathon in 2015. And it was all quote unquote good. Now I look back and, oh my goodness, what a crazy thing that I had done that time, because the only thing I started doing early was measure my heart rate, but I had no other thing going on that time. And it was just that I want to do something before turning 50. So without doing anything in the past, long running, etc., I started that particular one. Did similar kind of thing for next additional 2 years, so 3 half marathons. 4th year, when I was trying to do, I had an injury, and then COVID hit. And essentially what I found is that my heart rate was jumping way too high. And I was talking to our friend GV Ganesh, and I told him like, hey, looks like I'm getting too old. My running days are behind me. And he's like, no, your running days are not behind you. I'm going to get you introduced. I got this program here, and that's how he introduced me to you and the program. He pulled all the strings to get me in, even though it was slightly late. And as we say, the rest is history. And I realized that all the things that I was doing wrong, I had to unlearn those things, get new habits, etc. But that's how I got in here, got into this groove, and started my journey with relearning how to run.
Fascinating. It mimics my journey, Ravi. I did before I got introduced to my coach, I must have done 7 years of random running with lots of pain. And, yes, I had some medals and all, but it was just a painful sort of experience. Running was not a fun activity. It was always a painful activity.
Exactly. I used to just like jump out and run very fast up front, and then barely make it through those last
Exactly.
2-3 miles. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
And,
So it's great that, see how life turns, and then look at where we are right now. Fantastic. Fantastic. Raman, how about you, buddy? How did you get into running and runner's high?
Oh, mine was a very different journey, Bala. So as a kid, I used to get injured whenever I tried to do running races at school. I always came back home and all injured, like legs all bruised and all. My mom used to say, "What happened?" And like, what were you trying? And all I said was I was trying to do running and just fell in the during the race. And ever since, I didn't do much in terms of running until like college. And all of a sudden, like a bug hit me or something. I think I did some bit of running, like a couple of kilometers every day, just because. And that's because I enjoyed the outdoors in Banaras. So it used to be this foggy place, and it just used to be lovely to be outside. And so I thought, I had no company, but I guess I was more motivated at the time, and just started running there, just a few kilometers, and I used to feel fresh. That was my introduction to running. But then after college, it completely stopped, and no running at all. This was until COVID hit, and I was going through a lot of depression. I lost my mom as soon as COVID started, like May 2020, and then I got into a depression for a couple of months, and I just realized that that it was just eating me up, and so I had to do something about it. So I started like walking at basically just a few minutes. That's all I could bring myself to do after a couple of months of what I was going through. And then slowly the walk started getting better, longer, and I was able to open myself up. I was finally able to talk to my friends, just neighbors whom I avoided for 2-3 months, and and then all of a sudden, fast forward to like a month later, I was adding like a little bit of run to my routine. Like I reached like 10,000 steps, and so just slowly started doing running, and like a mile here, mile there. That's as much as I could do at the time. And then here's another story to linking back to Ganesh, Ravi. My friend Ganesh is my classmate in ITBHU.
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
So, yes, sir. So he said, "Hey, why don't we do this? What you call a lot of us have been doing running in various different ways, and why don't we do this as a group?" And so he organized, rallied us, got us into a WhatsApp group, and said, "You know what? We'll keep track, and we'll add it to our totals and just keep track of it. And on December 5th, we'll do this major thing and set our own targets and do whatever that we set out to do." So this was very interesting because everybody in my class set up a target. I didn't want to set up any target because I thought that was restricting myself to whatever that I could do. And so that day, December 5th, after we were walking, running, doing whatever, I walked 26 kilometers, in total. This was absolutely no preparation. This was like just getting out of my depression to the 26 kilometers. It was an amazing journey. And so that's when it hit, that I could do some running. And Ganesh, right after, he didn't lose a second after that, and he said, "Dude, you got to do this. You got to join this group with Bala, and I'll introduce you and get you in." And rest is history.
Wow, what a story is that, Raman? My goodness, I'm sure all of us will agree. Running is the best medicine for depression. It
right.
is
Absolutely.
that's why it's runner's high. I think it's the opposite of depression is a high.
Yes.
And
yes.
thank God you found it out yourself.
Yes.
And it's a.
I'm so glad.
Absolutely. There's so many stories like that. And nowadays I've come to a state where if I don't run, I get into a depression. It's the other way around. Like, with this COVID 3 weeks, I thought I was getting into depression right now. Great. I'm so glad that we met. And I'm so glad that we all are, not just me, we are all part of that beautiful journey of yours. And look from where to where you have kind of turned your, sort of path to what you are right now. My goodness. Who would have ever said you had been going through a depression? Of course, losing a mom is never easy for anybody. I'm sure I can relate to that. And the ever smiling Raman right now, that's the Raman that we know of. Farthest away from depression. And look at where you're, beautiful, inspiring already, Raman. Well done.
Thanks, Bala.
Yeah. Rakesh, what about you, buddy?
Yeah. So I've been definitely interested in sports in schooling days, but once started the career, it was a long time getting involved on those active sporting events. In past couple of years, I started running basically 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and then slowly to half marathon, I'll say. Did my Pune half marathon and then Tata Mumbai half marathon. Definitely, the way I was ramping up from 5K, 10K to half marathon. I think I was thinking like from half marathon to full marathon, I definitely need something else because the strategies should be totally different.
Yeah.
And while I was running here, my sister and brother-in-law in New Jersey, Deepak and Moni, so introduced to RHWB by Deepak in this program, and we have been talking around his experience in the earlier seasons and my running journey also beside in Pune. So that was connecting quite well, and he said, "Why don't you join?" Earlier, I was thinking like this is like a remote program. I'm in India and the whole group is in US. But I thought, yeah, let's definitely give it a try. And I think it has worked perfectly fine. I think the way it's going, this is my third season. And I'm really happy to see like how I'm progressing from one season to another season. And I think this is the group where I have the largest number of family members also running in the group. So I have Deepak, Moni, Dia, then Rajesh, Shweta, Praveen, Priyanka. This season, my wife Niti is also joining this program, and this is just 1 week has passed, and she has started feeling the difference around all this. So really great to be part of this program, Bala.
Oh, it's so satisfying to hear those things, right, Rakesh? So if you think about driving impact, at least we have moved from a driving impact to a singular level to driving impact at a immediate family level to driving impact at an extended family level. Because when you start driving health impact to extended family level, then truly that family is happy. Because everybody is healthy and the table conversation is different. You guys come together, you have a common.
You can start connecting yourself what you all are talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm hearing so many such, it is so satisfying. I mean, not for me. I'm talking about all of us should feel satisfying because all of us are, put one log to that fire by maintaining the community and all that good stuff. Like one of the most satisfying thing for me personally is that 7 seasons now I went from just knowing the kids very well to knowing the kids' parents very well to knowing the kids' parents' friends very well to now I know the full families, like Deepak, when you say every person that you mentioned, I know them so well. It's not like I just know their names. Every person you said in your family, I can walk in tomorrow to any of your family and have a dinner as if I know you for a long time, so that's a very satisfying thing personally for me as well. So great to see that. There's so many such families. I think in my first welcome message, I told this season, guys, 72 families are there in this 472 families. That means we are in the center of discussion for 72 dinner tables. Runners high, and the kids who have not yet signed up, I'm talking about like less than 10-year-old kids who are looking at that dinner table and just all they are seeing is running and, hearing running and, base pace and workouts and, that's all they're seing. So it's true impact that is happening. So I'm very glad.
Yeah, this is going to grow exponentially the way it's like the nature and the idea is contaminating, and then shared across different people. I think this will benefit everyone and overall the society and the community itself, Bala.
Good thing. It's a good thing. And we keep pushing as much as we can. Cool. So guys, all three. Sorry, Ravi, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'm just going to say one quick 5-second thing. Because of Runners High and my getting into strength training with all these things, our younger one, who is a football player, he looks at some of my exercises and he corrects me. Oh, Daddy, this is not how you do it. This is what our coach taught us to do it. So that is also a fantastic aspect of this.
That's awesome. That's another bonding there. It's pretty nice. Very nice to hear that. So Ravi, so one of the things, guys, audience, the commonality among these three, if you see, they have till now talked about the journey of how they came into running. Now, what they will start talking about is a blistering full marathon season that they completed just last season. Full marathon. All of them, I can tell you, it's not as if they knew what they were getting into at the start of the season, but all of them, I think they did a beautiful full marathon season and they have some incredible stories to share. So let's start with Raman this time. Raman, why don't you go back to your full marathon season? Think about, share with us some of the high-level highs and lows of the journey that you had.
So brief background. So after I joined the first season, I completed my half marathon, of course, and it was a great experience. It was nothing like anything I ever imagined, right? So I had no idea of what running was. I was doing it just outside on the fringe and did whatever that I did. But once I was in a structured program, it was absolutely a fantastic experience for me. It was mind blowing in the sense that there were so many misconceptions that I had, and they were just dropping. It was just shattering one thing after another as I went through the program and followed various guidelines that I was given, the information and connecting with people and all that. That happened in the first season, of course, and I went through a half marathon. And I also extended the connection, like you said, in the family. On the half marathon day of the half marathon, I said I was doing it all alone remotely, and so I had to do something about the remote aspect of it because I was missing that group thing that Bala does in New Jersey. So I collected all my relatives in India and said, each one of you call me during the half marathon. And so throughout those 13 miles, I was on calls throughout, talking to them and just going through the race, and it was an absolute fantastic experience. So thanks to all the inputs from everybody in this group, and it was fantastic. And then coming to the full marathon, so once I went through that, I thought, this is great. I already had a good experience, and I'm just going to extend it. That was completely another misnomer about what a full marathon goes to be. And, I realized quickly that, and this was during the summer. So my half marathon was in the winter. The training was absolutely at a fantastic low temperatures, that no problem there, right? Well, full marathon was totally different. It was in the summer times, and it was blistering 90 degrees here in Charlotte. And, I was doing I still remember the 15-mile run where I didn't follow the guidelines right. I missed out on my water bottle. I didn't do the the necessary intakes of electrolytes, and man, I felt it. It was the lowest point of my whole preparation, because at the somehow when I ended it, it was like I'm just gonna crash. That was how bad it was. And I said, you know what, there is some learning out of this one, and that these guidelines that has prepared, and these go a very long way, and as long as I followed them, I had absolutely no trouble going through whatever the program was. So it was a great learning for me. And race, until from that point on, until race day, even though I did longer distances, I never hit that low at all, going into the race. So and then coming to the race day, my preparation was pretty basic. I absolutely
So
took the time to interact.
on the
Sorry.
race day, let's just hold for a second. We will discuss race day separately, so that I want to capture the race day experiences separately. So there are a couple of things I just want to pull it out of this beautiful sort of, the transition from to half to full. I think one of the key things he mentioned is that you can afford to take it slightly lightly in half marathon and some shortcuts here and there, not listening to coach, not doing a strength training, not taking water, not following CP, all of this. I'm sure many of the runners are right now doing it. The first time runners, especially, thinking that, okay, this is way of doing it. There is another way of doing it. I will do my way. There are various, paths to shortcuts. But one of the things that he beautifully said, and I want to really bring that out, especially for future full marathoners, I know a lot of you are also thinking about that, is that you better respect a full marathon training. Okay, starts with respect. You have to respect a full marathon training.
Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, if you don't respect, it is not going to, like, if you don't respect a half marathon training, it will bite you 2 months later. If you don't respect a full marathon training, it will bite you that evening. It's the results are inside, like Kali Yuga. It's the Kali Yuga of race training. The palan is instant, and so that's a beautiful point.
Instant karma, Bala.
Exactly. So that's a very important point that I wanted to make sure that brings it out. Yes. And on corollary of that is the same thing can be applied to half marathon too. Having the discipline of following a certain structured training program is about following, first of all, putting your effort in understanding what content is given to you. Somebody is making an effort to give you that content. So the least you can do is at least consume it and think about it.
Right.
Otherwise, why are you in the training program? You can as well do it yourself. So that is the first corollary of that. The second is, if you respect half marathon, even if you're in the half marathon, even if you're in 5K, even if you're in 10K, when you respect this, you will see the sport gives some amazing things back to you instantly. So I think that's the two things I wanted to say. The third one that from Raman experience that comes out is that you can get a low, but there is a learning in the low as well, which is what I think Raman did. Like, okay, I got messed up here. but I will make sure that I won't do A, B, and C going forward. So it's a good thing to have a low. So don't think that low means you are not fit for it. Low is, everybody gets a low. Take the learning, apply it so that low can be converted to high. Beautiful story, Raman. And we'll come back to your race day experience shortly.
Thanks,
Rakesh, how about you? What was your training, experiences where?
Okay. So definitely, I think it started quite well because I did my half marathon earlier. So the first couple of weeks were definitely very good. The other thing was in the final surge, I used to see like you have running and later part you have strength training also. So I was slightly confused at the beginning. Okay, do I need to do both the things on the same day, or is it meant for some different days? So that was another thing, because you need to ramp up both on the strength as well as running first different days. But as you increase your complexities and the time frame, then you need to do both the things on the same day also. So those things got clarified. I talked to you, Bala, on the final surge, and good guidance was provided on that. Other thing was definitely I also hit across one scenario. In fact, there was a break of 2 weeks in the season itself. In fact, due to running in, it was earlier cold season, and then all the mucus was, I'll say, blocked in my nose. And then when I tried to clean it, then started bleeding. And the bleeding actually didn't stop.
Yeah,
I need to go to hospital. And then I literally need to take 2 weeks of break there. And then I was checking with you, Bala, that as part of the protocol, because I have dropped 2 weeks of full marathon training, should I drop from the program or should I continue on that? So it was a good guidance given by you. Okay, let's continue on that. Let's ramp up for the remaining half of the season. And then slowly I started taking on those things. good thing was all the support from the group, what I got, the strength training, the frequency of taking electrolyte and hydrating, I think those things. And so there are both the things like under hydration and over hydration, all those things are definitely important. How to conserve your energy, because you are going for a big thing. It's not like just 5K or 10K and you are done with it. So this is a different program altogether. You need to start taking care about your pace, the heartbeat, the hydration, the electrolyte, how you release your energy so that you are still feeling strong at the end of your finish line. Because even when I was doing half marathon, like towards the end of the finish line, it was like, okay, I'm done. But I definitely wanted to be more stronger towards the end of the program and then going forward for that. So definitely this well-structured program helped a lot, I would say. How I ramp up my training, the strength training, the warm-up part, the pre and post running, all those things, how it helps to avoid any of the injury. So apart from the nose bleeding, I have not gone into any of those kind of injury, and I'm just making sure how slowly I ramp up and then increase my pace as well as other stuff.
Wonderful. Wonderful. 2 points on this, guys, audience. He was talking about doing the strength training as well as running on the same day was something that was like, man, I'm getting exhausted and I have to do both together. So I just wanted to introduce one small training concept here, right? So when you start the journey, most people, I'm talking about start the running journey, most people would have never run, so they don't have any energy loss or anything, but they never don't know how to use their strength. So it is like pre the usage of energy, there are some other problems are there, so it's just getting started, the initial inertia. So that's one type of training. Then you get to another second stage where you have the energy and you are all about how to control the release of energy. That's the training that happens when energy is there, your body, everything is there, you just have to control it. Then comes the third stage of training where you are getting tired, but still you need to deliver. That means you need to find the energy, dig deep and get the energy out. So that is the third portion of the training, which is needed in full marathon, because that's where you have to, at some point, there will be a time when you don't have energy in your body, but you still have 6 more miles to run. That doesn't mean that you just stop off and you can't stop because you've done 20 miles, 6 more miles you have to do. So you need to learn the habit of digging deep. That's what is the training. So part of that is the strength training also you do, running also you do, so that you get exhausted and do. And then tomorrow, if you do ultra marathon, then you will do 2 back-to-back long runs. And the most important training is the second long run is more important than the first long run, because at the start of the second long run, you're already exhausted. Then you are doing a long run, which is what is ultra marathon training. So that's the framework that typically is applied in training. So it's nice that you sort of explained it from a user standpoint, rather from a runner standpoint, and how that manifests itself. Great. Ravi, let's go back to your season experience, how that happened.
Well, it was interesting. I'll just touch base on my first season S5, where I was doing half marathon with you. And as I told, I thought running was behind me. I can only walk going forward. And first day, I again measured my heart rate and I texted you, Bala, my heart rate is too high. I thought I was going to go out of the training program because it's not for me. And the only thing that you responded is slow down. Okay. I was like, what? I'm almost will be walking. But I followed that. And really my heart rate started coming down. And I was like, oh my goodness, I got some scope here to go through this one. And that gave me the needed boost to continue that half marathon training. And when I started running, we had 2 eklavya's, Sandhya, my wife, as well as my running buddy, Mandar. And both of them used to take, I used to send them what I'm going to do. They used to follow the same program. And that's how they also did the half marathon with me on conclusion of season 5. It became very clear that program, what the strength training does, what the time management is needed. We all are busy and all these kind of things. But when it came to the full marathon season, as was mentioned earlier, it was uh, during summer, okay? And Dallas gets hotter than Charlotte. So, and yeah, we started the training and like, oh my goodness, I got twice the work as compared to what Sandhya had. Sandhya was in half marathon, as in full marathon. And it was not good, because once the sun comes up, your run goes down, practically goes down. So what am I supposed to do? Because it's going to be hot until late in the evening. So the only option that was left is get up earlier and earlier. So by the time my long run started, I was getting up at 3:30.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I wanted to simulate race kind of conditions, right? Because you're doing 15 plus miles runs. And if you do that in the sun, it's not only your t-shirt is soaking wet, your socks are soaking wet. Okay.
Yeah.
I had that experience once. I was like, this is not good running. I want to do something where I can give my best. So I have to get up early. And one of the things I had realized during that time is that unless I get my good sleep, my run goes downhill. Okay. It's just no good. And I wanted to keep consistent runs. So, okay, so I had to adjust my sleep pattern, realize that hydration doesn't mean drinking water the night before. It really starts more like 4 to 7 days earlier. And all these things started falling in place, Bala. And then if I'm getting up early for runs, no matter how quiet I try to be, I disturb Sandhya as I'm getting up and doing all these things. But she was extremely supportive. So those kind of things helped. She understood why I'm doing it. And all these things added up to get that mental preparation going, that this is how it's going to be. And you could feel the difference in your body. In just a couple of weeks before the full marathon, I was getting my annual done. And my doctor says, all your vitals have come back to the normal. They were used to be off. Like, yeah, what are you doing? I was like, are you taking anything? I said, like, no, I'm running. That's all I'm doing. Yeah. I'm running, no medicine, nothing. And so, yeah, that was absolutely bonus. So learned a lot about myself in the process. Strength training is absolutely given. I could see the difference between half and full. During halftime, I used to do a little bit chori, right? I mean, you tell us 3 sets, I'll do 2 sets. And like, I think I've done it. But then you realize how much it matters as the mileage goes up, your strength balance, especially running balance, strength training makes huge difference. So full marathon, I'm doing all 3 sets or sometimes 4 sets, if I could do that. But those kind of things are mental in my mind. And that discipline comes in, time management kicks in big time because it's time consuming, this training.
Correct.
So it changes life. It truly changes. And I found that to be positive, and anyone around me, whether they liked it or not, heard about my running experience. So some of them got motivated. Some of them started walking in my friend circle. Hey, good for all of us.
Absolutely. I mean, think about someone waking up at 3:30 in the morning on a weekend. And this person is not on a vacation. You're actually in working. It's not that, you have to work also. So, I mean, that just shows commitment and dedication that we keep talking about, audience. This is commitment and dedication, you got to do tough things to achieve big things. Big things don't happen just like that. It's all hunky-dory when people talk about how they achieve something big. But you need to understand that the boiler room behind that big thing is a lot of hard work and sweat and heat and all that stuff. And the more you do that, the more you enjoy the success, that health-wise success, motivation, you're motivating others. And Ravi, I'm sure Raman and Rakesh, you will agree with me. Whether you like it or not, you guys are motivated at least, I don't know, 10, 15 people that has been in touch with you, even if you haven't tried.
Yeah.
Just by being yourself, you will motivate people,
Sure.
Absolutely, Bala.
And I mean, that just shows that people respect hard work, even if you don't talk about it. When they look at you, they look at the transformation, they know that it is not just some lottery ticket you got. It was hard work that earned it. And that's why it makes this successful and sweet and you come back again to do the same hard work again. It's pretty amazing story, guys. Let's now get into your race day. We'll start with you, Raman. Full marathon race day, big day, big occasion. Get us into your D-Day, please.
Yes. So the constant debate for me was whether I would be doing the race day in Charlotte all by myself or with my friends here, or going to New Jersey. So like I said before, the half marathon, I channeled all
Raman, sorry to interrupt. Just to give the context for new runners. So guys, in the last couple of seasons, New Jersey, so Runners High organized a Runners High race. Because of COVID, there was no race available. So we organized, as in the Runners High Club members came together, about 40 volunteers came together and organized the race. With the dinner, lunch provided, all people will come, medals will be given. So it was like a poor man's version of any race organized by Runners High. So when Raman says, do I come to New Jersey? He's saying, should I come to New Jersey to participate in this race? Or I just race myself? Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I understand when you say that. Please go ahead.
Absolutely. Bala is very modest. He says this is poor man's version, but I would not miss what Bala does compared to any other marathon, no matter where it is in the whole world. I can tell you that much.
Yes,
but absolutely fantastic. What the extended family in New Jersey and Bala do. Everybody needs to experience that. But going back to the race day, so after that learning with that 15-mile run that I just described, I was absolutely sure that as long as I used the information that was provided in the program as far as strength training, my runs during the weekend, long runs, and hydration, the electrolytes, and proper sleep. These are the cornerstones of the training, right? As long as I did that, I experienced that every single one of my long runs was, absolutely great for me. I experienced a high on each one of them, to be honest. It was not just the race day that I experienced a high. So, so going into the race day, I was able to relax because I never tensed about, hey, what if this and what if that? All that was taken care of just because I was able to follow the program after that experience, and that paid off big time because on race day, the weather was perfect. A day before, I happened to I was with Deepak, my dear friend here, who I met here in Charlotte on his way to vacation. Got introduced to him, and I met Deepak in New Jersey and checked out the place, and actually saw and recognized Bala's voice in the dark without seeing his face. It was funny. There's Bala coming from the opposite side, and by the time Deepak and myself were trying to check out this place, it was already dark. Why we wanted to go there anyway, and come to find out Bala is there, trying to finalize everything that he does. The magic is all in what he arranges. So. And I had a great host, Madhavi, where I was staying with, and was able to absolutely relax, get a good sleep, water, and I was able to get ready for the race day in perfect time. And the next day we started early. I had a company of two other full marathoners, Praveen, Deepak's brother, and Naina. She was preparing for the New York Marathon the couple of weeks later. So we all started together, and it was a cool the whole week it was promising to be rainy, and then that day it just turned out that it was a perfect day for a race. It was like a 70 degrees at its peak, I think. It was just perfect. It all kind of came together, and me along with Praveen, we experienced the race in a very different fashion. Praveen was kind of battling his knee issues, and I was giving him company throughout the program, throughout his run, and trying to finish mine at the same time. And it was all kind of this camaraderie we developed during that time that kept us together. So first 15 miles, we barely were able to feel anything. It was just everything was just going perfect. And then the slowdown hit, where Praveen was having his knee issues, and I was giving him company, and we kind of went together for, I think, next 5 to 6 miles until Deepak showed up and took care of Praveen, and that kind of put things in perspective for me, where on the race day, anything could happen. It could be a high, it could be a low, or a mix of things. And I certainly saw that for firsthand. And so once going through that, I should mention the kind of experience that Bala again put together, man. There was some of them, they were cheering there. There were others who were ready to do like a massage to the lower muscles, and this is all the experience that makes race day special. And it was just something that I couldn't ever forget. Meeting Bala during the race, that was another highlight of the race. And then once I was all by myself, I was able to gather myself and run the last 5-6 miles. The training kicked in. Everything from what I learned, and everything that I was tapping into during the lean periods that I faced, and that 15-mile run, it all kind of came together, and I was able to finish it up and under 7 hours. And I didn't feel it was grueling. It was a great experience. It was just a fantastic day that I experienced. Just awesome, Bob.
Amazing. For someone who just went just to do a couple of walk runs to just get out of some bad period of life, just 1.5 years ago, or maybe max 2 years ago, to finishing a running 6.5 hours continuously,
Yes.
and feeling great after that. Because I remember when he finished, all of us were there. We gave him a big hug, and he was on top of the world. Finishing the first full marathon is one of the highlights of everybody's life. That you will never be able to get that. I'm sure Ravi is going to share his moments there. What a brilliant effort, Raman. Thank you for your kind words about the preparation and the Runners Eye Race Day.
Of course.
I mean, the number of volunteers there, 30, 40 plus, who have spent hours together. It is a kudos to them. While you said that, what I put together, really, I just delegate.
True.
There are folks who have done, oh my goodness, so much. So thank you for that. It did mean a lot to all those volunteers. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of them. 35 members across the board for 1 week at a minimum. They have done this to make this happen. So thank you, Raman, for identifying that. Ravi, how was your race day, man?
Oh, race day was fantastic. Again, as you said, it's not the race day, it's the race week. The real preparation started at least 7 days ahead of time. I started monitoring my water intake, at least more than 2 of these every day, noon and everything. It's a weird way, Bala, but I started monitoring every meal. Okay, am I getting enough fiber? Am I getting enough protein? A lot more of that. That led up to the night before, and had nice sabudana khichdi and all that stuff, carb loading the night before, and started my run at 4 o'clock. So again, I had to get up at 3:15, 3:30 kind of a thing to make sure that I do everything. I'm a little loose, etc. And started that. Ran over to Mandar's place. Then he ran with me for 16 miles. So I finished my 18 miles or so there. And for the last critical miles, our son Amay, he was on bicycle with me. I did this virtually here in Coppell, Dallas. And it was fantastic because day was perfect. all the mental hangups were broken during the training. That for some reason, I had that mental hangup about 13.1, right? Oh my goodness, I'm done with half marathon, I'm done. That was broken in training really well. Typically, people say after 20, you're going to hit a wall and all that stuff. With training, I did not feel anything, man. And that was my take all along, that I want to have training that gets me through without injury. And that's what this training did me in half marathon. That was brilliant. And I followed training to the T. And it came through, especially in those last 6 months, where I could feel it, that yes, I'm there. My heart rate was going up. So I used to slow down, but heart rate used to come down, which was a good sign. And continue with that. At the end of it, I finished it in 6 hours and 10 minutes or so. And Sandhya had arranged, unknown to me, many friends at our house who greeted me. And it was a blast. It was a wonderful experience, nice way of ending the marathon. And yes, I was very lucky in terms of the weather. Started at 45-50. And when I ended, it was barely into high 60s or low 70s. So it worked out really well.
And I remember, I think you probably sent me a WhatsApp message literally right after you
You're
finished.
the first person to call you.
Yes. And I could sense the happiness was through I could feel it. I could feel the warmth. You know, I said in some of the podcast also, I have now graduated from runner's high to coach's high. You know, I get more high when I see my runners getting runner's high. You know what I mean? Like rather than just me going and doing, yes, I do get runner's high, but coach high is more looked for me. So every time I get those kind of messages, especially since, you know, I know the journey with you guys, and crossing a full marathon finish line is not a small thing. So it was so nice to see. And at the time I was in the middle of the race day.
Yes, you were.
Whatever.
You're telling me actually, hey, Raman just passed this mile or something like that. Yeah. So you're keeping track of, but it was fantastic. It was absolutely, that elation is hard to explain. You got to experience.
Yes. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. We can't explain it. You know, you have to experience it to know what we're talking of. And I want to bring one last thing from Ravi's point. You know, he told about the 1 week preparation. You know, like very focused, and he was like counting his meals or whatever. That's all comes from the root of respecting marathon. You know, only when you respect marathon, you automatically do these things. You know, it's not the other way around. It is not like, you know, you're being too idealistic and all. No. You better respect this. When you respect it, it will give you. If you don't respect it, you will get injured. Simple. Equation is quite simple, and I've done both sides of the story. That's why it's a very clean thing. So it's an important thing. I want to bring this out. Rakesh, let's bring it on with your story, man. How was your, I know it's a very interesting story you want to say to us. How was your full marathon?
Yeah. So again, before the marathon that week, I was preparing and then a good word of wisdom from all the full marathons and fast runners. So that was great to get all those ideas and thought. Definitely, I was very excited about the race day. Again, it was summertime here in India, quite hot. And like running in morning is also very challenging. So I thought to start might be very early hours. And on top of that, it was peak season of COVID, the Delta variant, and there was a complete lockdown in the state and in fact, throughout the country in India. And in Pune, like it was, you cannot just go out of your society also. So the only option left was for me, I planned like remotely, I can run just within my society across all these apartments. So I planned for that. So that was the only option left. And I wanted to do the same day when the runners high, the final race day was happening. So coming to all those thought process related to having a good sleep before that, but I hardly had 30 minutes of sleep before the night. And then I was trying to start around at 3 a.m., but I was awake from, in fact, midnight 12 itself. Then I did some warm-up exercise, took some rest, and then ultimately started at 2:30 a.m. in the morning itself. So I followed the program. I kept all my electrolytes, water bottles, and other things near my house so that I can come, take a round, come have something, and then again go for the run. So all those things happened properly, I'll say. The other bad part was like running on a concrete surface was another challenging thing, because you start feeling like the pain in your like knee and ankle and all those places.
And how much is one round? How much distance is one round?
Yeah, it's close to 850 meters.
So like half a mile, basically.
Yeah, half a mile. But and I was definitely thinking like to take some different loops, and hopefully I would complete by taking around 55 loops of the whole society in different combination. So that was the plan, but ultimately it ended up slightly more than that because at run time you need to again adjust on all those stuff. So I think the training helped all those things. After 20th mile, in fact, close to 22nd mile, I started feeling, okay, I'm slightly getting more exhausted. And I think rather than falling short of the overall target, I think it's good to slow down on that. And then I did some walking between 22nd to 23rd mile. And then after that, I ramped up and then finally completed that. The other thing, what it was going in my mind was, I had missed that 2 weeks of training, and that has, because if you have missed something, either on the strength training or any of those like gracefully ramping up to the race day, you yourself do your self-evaluation and introspect yourself that, okay, what you have done. No one else is going to tell you, okay, what better you need to improve upon, or what the things you need to really diligently to basically be more comfortable towards the end of the, like towards the finish line. So again, I was feeling amazed, like completing my full marathon, that too in COVID, and like in the morning, like when it was sun up, but still I managed to complete, and that was amazing, I'll say, experience.
I mean, think about it, right? To bring yourself to running 60 plus rounds of your own community in concrete at 2 o'clock in the night alone, I'm sure the watchman would be thinking, this Saab has gone completely crazy. You know? And ability to do that is the self-motivation. It's about self-motivation, you know, and there is no crowd, nobody to cheer you. Maybe your wife was there. That just tells you that you just are bought into this, you know. That's how your brain can be motivated. You know, that's what it is. It's all about the vision. Once your head is in, no, after that, there is no frivolous reasons. Winter, schools, all that are just, you won't even think about it. If COVID is there, country is shut down, okay, let me go and run around my community and finish it off. You know, that's problem solving. You know, guys, audience, one of the things we will discuss in this season every time we do is a section on problem solving. It's an important skill set every runner must have, and hopefully that also transfers to other parts of your life. Like just because you have something is not going your way doesn't mean that you let go of the larger sort of objective. You still go and make it happen, you know. So beautiful story. Man, I can't imagine. We have talked for an hour and we got so much, and I can continue for more, but brilliant stories. Let's bring this home. How about we just go quickly around the horn, just a small tweet length word of wisdom to the new runners, and then you know, we can bring this podcast home. So let's start with you, Ravi.
My only thing, even if you forget everything else from this podcast, just one thing: follow the program. Follow the program to the T, and you will be home. You will enjoy it. I can go on and on. Make sure that you got your strength training done. You got your all the things other done. Electrolyte, hydration. All those things are big rocks. You discover yourself a little bit during the process. How much sleep matters to you? Shoes, custom orthotics, whatever it takes. Go for it. All these things matter. But more than 80% is the program. Then the rest of these things are going to get you there. So it's a complete package. It's you at the end of the day. It's completely on you, and you're going to make the difference yourself.
Beautiful. Stick to the program. Somebody is thinking for you. So you don't have to overthink. Just stick to the program, and you will get to the start line for sure, fully healthy and ready to go. Beautiful words, Raman.
Oh, that I would like to completely reinforce that. So, for any doubts, I would like to refer to my 15-mile run, where I didn't on purpose take liberties, but in a sense I did by not sticking to the program for that day, and faced whatever that the wrath of not following it. So I would say absolutely, if you want to see what the program does, try doing it once without the program, and then you'll see what it means. And the next, that should say everything that needs to be. Program is the key.
Well said. Well said. Beautifully said. Rakesh?
Yeah. So in addition to the following the program, I'll say either you experience the things yourself and learn from, or you experience or learn what the others have already gained over a period of time. So following the program, watching the podcast, doing religiously the strength training and other things, I think all those you'll start seeing the result once you go on the race day. And again, this is just a journey. Race day is another day. And I think over a period of time, from one season to another season, as you go, you yourself will start feeling the difference on that. So just believe in the program and just go for it, I'll say.
Beautiful, beautiful words. What fantastic experience, and 3 amazing full marathoners, and they're runners for life, I can safely say. They are not here just for some medals anymore. They are here for just their own personal, satisfaction, happiness, and
Right.
There's a lot. I can say I know all 3 of them. So beautiful ambassadors for not just running program, but also for not just running, but also for Runners High program. Beautiful ambassadors. Thank you guys for all the contribution. It is as your coach. I mean, I worked closely with all of you. It was absolute pleasure coaching you. You guys are so coachable. It was pleasure coaching you. So it's always a smile in my face when I interact with you. Now in the final search, live, all of that, I feel like I know you guys for a longest of time. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your time. I know it's a weekday, it's a morning for you in India. You still did it with minimal sort of notice. And I'm sure the entire audience is going to really appreciate all your thoughts.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bala.
Thanks, Bala.
Thanks, Bala.
Yeah.
Thanks
Bye.
a lot.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.